Hey everyone, welcome to This Week in PlayStation Trophies, your weekly look at everything on the PlayStation Network and all the trophies that the games contain. The easy ones, the hard ones, and the ones in between. This is the first weekly update for 2017, so Happy New Year, everybody. And not a whole lot to talk about. There's no brand new games on the PSN at all. This is the second week in a row. It's like becoming like the Wii U out there. Like, not a whole lot of games out there. Obviously, that'll be changing as we go into next week. Hopefully, I think next week some new games will hit the PSN, at least here in North America. I'm not sure if worldwide there's been any other new releases, but at least here in North America, nothing new on the PSN to talk about. And there's only been a couple of new trophy lists that have been revealed, but we're going to go to PSN profiles and look at them, watch a few trailers, and talk about some of the stuff that is out there now, and will be coming soon, hopefully, for all us trophy hunters out there. As we get to PSN profiles, we left off, I think, at Air Race Speed. I think that's where we left off from a couple of weeks ago. I didn't cover any of the new lists from last week, which is only like a couple, just because I decided to do my yearly wrap-up as there was so little new games. But kicking off, this one is going to be Operation Babel. This looks like to be the Hong Kong or Chinese trophy listing. My guess is the Hong Kong, Taiwan region. I could easily be wrong with that. This is a dungeon crawler that is coming out here in North America, apparently, worldwide release June 30th. I don't know if that's gonna, if that's true, if that's gonna remain the same. It is a Vita title, which looks a little bit interesting. I love the trophy setup though, with the characters being in the different trophies. A few games have done this. Gravity Rush did this with some of it, so I really like the way they end up doing that. I think that's just a cool little extra thing. Is there's so many games out there that do their trophy icons that are just lackluster. A lot of them use like the same trophy icon for everything, or just change it slightly, maybe to make it bronze, silver, or gold. But when you go that extra little mile in a game, definitely get a thumbs up from me. We'll watch the trailer briefly here. I'll switch that over. There we go. And like I said, this one is a dungeon crawler, very much like an Etrian Odyssey, those kind of games. Even a little bit maybe Shin Megami, classic Shin Megami, just because that first-person perspective. So if you're familiar with those classic first-person perspective dungeon crawler-esque games, that's exactly what this looks like. So, but it says hack and slash. I don't know if that means the battle system is you walk up to enemies and then attack them. Similarly to some classic dungeon crawlers from the past, the likes of some of the old Dungeons and Dragons games were like that, where you kind of attacked from the first person perspective instead of going into like an alternate battle system. But when I see a little bit farther, of course, it seems to be like a traditional JRPG dungeon crawler battle system and the like. Of course, anime style characters. When I searched the game on the Google, I did end up coming across a few ecchi, fan service-esque pictures for some of the characters included here, so there obviously is that little bit of thing for some people out there, but it seems like an interesting game. Obviously, I don't know much about its plot or anything like that, but it seems to be potentially a bit of a cool game to maybe get it, especially for Vita fans. I'm not sure how the Vita is going to be doing in 2017. Will there be a lot of new games for Vita? We're going to have to, of course, wait and see on that. But at least that is one that looks like it's getting a US release eventually down the road, and we'll be checking out. I'm sure eventually on a future trophy update we'll talk about the English trophy list for that one. Now, next up is a game that I was really excited for at first, and then I realized it didn't have a platinum, and I'm going to go ahead and translate the trophies here for you. And that is Downtown Brawl March Tournament Fighting SP. This is part of the Kunio Kun series of games, and in fact, this one for PS4 is being done by some of the people that work on the BlazBlue series of games. So that's kind of cool. Like I said, unfortunately, no platinum, which is disappointing. There was a Kunio Kun sports game series, I forget what it's called, like Super Sports something, that was available on the PlayStation 3 that actually did have a platinum trophy. I still want to check out the trailer for this game. It's Japanese name, Downtown Rentu Kushinakyoku Kachinuki Kakuto SP trailer. There we go. I read the title. But there seems to be like the really kind of fun action brawling, but with sports objects, you can pick up stuff, slam enemies. I love the way they kind of do the environments and everything with these modern Kunio Kun If you're unfamiliar with the Kunio Kun name, River City, you're probably more familiar with River City Ransom. But in Japan, the series is known as Kunio Kun, and there's like an absolute ton of games in the series. But it's been like brought back, it's been resurrected in the last couple of years with some new titles for 3DS and PS3 and PS4. I'm a big fan. There's also a compilation. I think it's the compilation on 3DS that actually has a lot of the Kunio Kun games all in one, which is worth checking out. So probably more of a budget title of the series as well, I would hope so, especially considering it doesn't have that, trophy platinum list. But it seems like it will be fun to play if it does end up making it to North America. It doesn't seem to have any plans currently to release it here, but some of the other Kunio Kun games and stuff have been being released here. So there's nothing to lead me to believe that this one wouldn't end up getting the same treatment that a lot of the other more recent ones have ended up getting. Next up here, we have ourselves the Arcade Archives Alpha Mission 2. This is another one of the very, very easy trophy lists for Arcade Archives. I've talked a little bit before about, I love the fact that they are putting these classic arcade games onto the PS4. Great idea. I fully support it. But man, could you please put a little bit of effort into the trophy list. Just a little bit. Add a platinum especially would be an instant buy every time. I would buy every one of these arcade games instantly, because they're charging $7.99. These aren't like extremely cheap. Yes, they're all old arcade games, some of which can't be gotten in any other form other than the arcade cabinet itself and these versions, but still, put that little bit of more effort. If you're not even going to put a platinum in it, at least go ahead and put some more creative trophies. Most of these trophies you'll be gotten in a few moments, and most Arcade Archives have like an extremely easy overall 100%. Most people end up getting the complete 100%. The only one that usually holds people up is something like this, and there's a lot of these where it's the high score. Make sure that you post a high score to the leaderboard. Some games have a harder high score defaultly. You just have to beat the default high score, and some of course have a harder one than others. Either way, I wish they would put a little bit more effort into those. Next up was something that got me extremely excited and then immediately crushed my hope and dreams, and that is Puyo Puyo Tetris. I love Puyo Pop from Sega. It's one of my favorite puzzle games. I fell in love with it when I played the likes of Kirby's Avalanche and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine years and years ago, and then discovered it was its own series with its own many games and many spin-offs and the like. And they released this one in Japan a while back, and in fact you can get a physical copy for the Japanese version. I almost imported it a couple of times, but just for one reason or another didn't. But they are releasing this here in, well, it looks like English, right? But nope, it's the Hong Kong, Taiwan version of the game that has English trophies. At least that's from the research I've done so far, that it looks like this is the Hong Kong trophy list. So hopes and dreams dashed that we're going to be getting this game in North America, which even if it was digital only, I would end up buying it because I'm a big fan of Puyo. It stinks that we're not going to be getting it. I do want to watch a little bit of the trailer, though. Just a showcase, in case you guys haven't ever seen it. You can do Puyo versus Tetris, and just straight up Puyo, straight up Tetris. Very cool game. One, if you're interested in checking out the series, I don't know how expensive it is now at this point, but Puyo Pop Fever for the Nintendo DS or the Nintendo GameCube is one that I would recommend going out and trying to get a hold of, if at all possible. If you end up liking that, you'll like most of the Puyo games. I said Puyo about a million times. Take a drink every time I say Puyo in this video, and you'll be drunk before we finish it up. So yeah, like I said, this came out in about 2014. It was a very early PS4, PS3 title, or very early PS4, like late PS3 title. So I still have hope that maybe they'll release this here in North America, or maybe one time down the road, we will end up getting ourselves a new Puyo Puyo game that actually comes over. Next up is Maldita Castilla EX Cursed Castilla, which I have done my full review for here on YouTube. You can check it out. But they basically have released a trophy list for all regions, just about. I'm not sure how many stacks it has now. In fact, actually, let's go ahead and look that up, because if you're into the game that much, which is a tough game, do not get me wrong, we now have 3 stacks for it so far, which I assume is UK, US, and maybe Hong Kong, Taiwan, because it's not in Japanese. So my guess, and this is the one I have played. No, that's a Japanese one. So it's Japanese, probably UK/Europe, and US. So there you go. There's 3 potential. There's very difficult game. Ghosts and Goblins inspired. I mean, pretty much identical to Ghosts and Goblins, but very cool game if you're into those kind of things. And I want to get better at it and see if I can get that platinum one day down the road. But it's going to require a bit of practice that I just haven't had the time to put into it yet. So next up we have Anima Gate of Memories. This is actually a new list for this game. This game came out back in June, early July, in North America and Europe, UK at least. In fact, it got a physical copy in the UK, in Europe. I've seen it like on Amazon and such, but I haven't picked it up for myself. I've been importing a few UK exclusive physical copies, or I'm at least hoping to stay UK physical because I imported them. But then again, at this point, since they usually are, unless they're the few games that have multiple trophy stacks, either way, it's the same basic game no matter which version you end up getting. I just actually recently picked up Zenith and Heart and Slash, the physical copies from Europe. But anyway, this is another one that's on my list of ones to look out for, since it hasn't gotten a release here in North America physical yet. But maybe it will down the road. Supposedly this game has it's a hack and slash game that was made by a very small development team. In fact, we'll go ahead and look a little bit at the trailer briefly. But it was made by a very small development team. Doesn't have any missable trophies. So if you haven't checked it out yet, here in North America or in Europe, it was a relatively low price. I want to say it was $19.99 here in North America. And seems like a pretty cool game. It's one that I think I almost bought, but then for some reason or another, budget was pretty tight at that point, so I couldn't splurge. But maybe I'll eventually end up importing this game, because I like these kind of hack and slash beat 'em ups that are like this. I played a lot of them. Some turn out better than others. I thought Soulbrain Net of Darkness would be an okay one. I was clearly wrong as soon as I played it for more than 1 second. Because the trailer, I watched like 2 seconds of it. I was like, at least it's hack and slash. Even if it's really bad, it won't be that bad, right? I was clearly an idiot. This looks much better than that. Obviously heavily anime inspired, though I don't think it's based on any particular anime or anything like that, but correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, this is out already. It came out back in June, but we're getting I assume it's going to be the Hong Kong, Taiwan region trophy list, because the US and Europe one has the same trophy list, so I'm not sure why we even got a separate stack for it, but we did. And last but not least, as far as new trophy list go for the week, is 88 Heroes. This is a game when I first saw that was announced, I was pretty excited for. It is, of course, retro style, as you can see from the graphics, and there's some people that get turned off by that nowadays. And me, I'm like, I love retro, so I'm still going to keep playing it. Playing anything retro-related. But the gimmick for it, as you can see, they've gone completely crazy with the gimmick here of the 8, the number 8. Everything is an 8, some form, multiple of 8. You have like all these things like score 8,888 points, or score 888,888 points. Get 8 perfect rounds, 16 perfect rounds, 32 perfect rounds. Beat the game with 8 people remaining. Beat the game with 16 heroes remaining. Play the game 88 times. I don't know if that means play through it all the way, which that could be a bit of a grind. But since it's a bronze, I'm hoping it's just, play. Finish with 8 minutes or more remaining on the Doomsday timer. I'm not sure if that's a level or the entire game. But the gimmick, and we'll watch the trailer here for it, is that there are 88 different playable characters. So I'm very much excited and looking forward to trying this one out. Hopefully it comes out relatively soon, because I think it'll actually be pretty fun. Maybe some people won't dig it, maybe whatever, but I think just the entire concept of having 88 different playable characters that could potentially be your heroes or whatever, and I'm sure some of them won't play all that different.
Octopus! Superhero? More like Super Zero? Conan!
See, I like stuff like this. Broforce had a similar way just because it was the characters that were differently named that were based on the actual action heroes and the like. So yeah, overall, 88 Heroes seems to be potentially another really cool game, retro-style game that's probably going to be pretty difficult too. My guess is it'll be pretty difficult.
What the? Why, you little?
88 playable characters, 88 different levels, 88 seconds per level, 4 worlds.
There you go. Like I said, like this game is one of the ones I'm pretty excited for, and I'm glad it got a platinum. I don't know how hard or easy, obviously, that's going to be. Could potentially be pretty fun to get, or could be a nightmare. It's one of those ones that's a bit difficult to tell from just the trophy listing themselves. But there you guys go. That is everything for everything. And myself, as far as any personal things with trophies, what I've been working on is I actually just started Funk of the Titans, which I'm thinking potentially could... It looks like it's an easy... It has a very high percentage, so that's why I picked it up. And I'm actually enjoying it for what it is. It's not a great game, and like it's a runner-style game, but you have to perfect every level. I'm kind of enjoying it. I actually just got my first platinum of 2017 in Monster High, New Ghoul in School. Oh boy. My last two platinums for 2017 were Color Guardians, the free game for Plus last month, and then Lara Croft Go, both of which are easy plats. Color Guardians, a little bit more effort than like something like Lara Croft Go, but still pretty darn easy. And Wing Kings, man. I want to talk about this because I talked about this game briefly in my easiest platinum list, Volume 4. And I was going on percentages and such of including it, which thankfully the percentage has gone down accordingly now that more people have bought it, because I think some people are buying it because it's potentially an easy platinum, which it's not an unbelievably hard platinum, but it does require multiple players, which I did say in that video when I did it. I was like, you need to have friends to play with because you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, and it's a pretty tough game by yourself. The thing about the game, though, is the trophy difficulties don't stack. It's something that doesn't stack, and I've had to beat the game 4 times. Me and my friends beat it 4 times. I beat it by myself on easy, but they helped me out on all 3 of the other ones, and without them, I wouldn't have been able to finish it up. And now it comes the long grind of grinding the kills in the versus mode of the game, which will take a lot of grinds. I wonder if a few developers or something maybe played the game right at launch and got the platinums for themselves to make it seem like it was easier than necessarily it was. It's not hard, don't get me wrong. As long as you have friends to get it, it's really not that difficult. If you have 3, 4 players going at one time, it's up to 4 players, whatever, but it's very much a grind. It's more of a grind than I was expecting it to be by the initial numbers. My fault. And you can see, only 11 people still own the thing on here on PSN profiles. But I figured I'd give a little bit of update on that as I'm going through that game as we speak still. So there you guys go. There is everything for the PlayStation Trophies update. This is for January the 5th, 2017. I will be back, of course, next week. Hopefully we have brand new games that actually will come out that I'll get to talk about, as well as hopefully some more trophy lists are revealed as we get into 2017. Some really interesting, cool stuff hopefully is going to be going on. I'm very excited to see what Resident Evil 7 is going to bring to us as far as not only the game, but the trophy list that's going to be a part of it. Like, how difficult is that going to be to get? Because I'm obviously pretty excited about the game, and a few other things. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course, I hope you enjoyed. See you next week.